Hey 4xe fans, I'm out in my garage, and as you can see, the Jeep is not in here because it's in my designated 95B parking space at the end of my driveway. There's been a lot of confusion about the verbiage of the 95B recall, and I think it's because people haven't read the letters or gone to the NHTSA.gov website and read what the recommendation of the 95B recall is. And that recommendation is to park away from structures and to not charge. Those are the two recommendations. Now, some people have situations where they don't have a wide open piece of land like this where they can park away from the structures, and their only option may be to park in a parking garage. And in those cases, people have chosen to call Jeep and get a loaner, or get a rental, I should say. Some dealerships will give a loaner, but Jeep will have you get a rental, and they will pay you back for that. And I've never not had them pay me back. I have had, I don't know how many rentals now, but people have done that because they don't have a situation like this where they can park away from structures. Their only option may be to park in a parking garage. And in those cases, they have gotten rentals. But there is no requirement or recommendation to park the vehicle and not drive it. And that's a misunderstanding that a lot of people have come to based on the experiences of other people. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a lithium-ion battery fire. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these go up, but it is a pretty tremendous fire. It is a hot fire. And that's why they don't want it in a structure, because I could lose my garage and that fire could spread to the rest of my house, and we wouldn't want to have that happen. So go on YouTube, if you're watching this video on YouTube, go search lithium-ion fire and you will see how hot they are and why they recommend not parking in a structure. I've also chosen this spot so I'm not underneath these power lines. I don't want to bring down the neighborhood grid if there is a fire, and I also want to provide adequate access for the fire department because there's a what do you call those things? Fire hydrant right there. Why do they call them fire hydrants? They're really water hydrants. They don't include fire. They have water in them. But anyway, that's why I've chosen this spot. Is I'm really close to actually two of them. There's one up the street that way. And so if anything did happen, it would all be right here. It would be accessible, wouldn't be a threat to the network, the cable TV and phone and power and everything that's up there on that pole. So that's why I've chosen this exact spot. And I just wanted to share that in case anybody was questioning what they're supposed to do. It's not that you have to park it. It's that you just aren't supposed to charge it, and you're not supposed to park it near structures. Now, I read a post from a young lady who had 2 young children, and I totally get this. She did not want her children in the back seat of this vehicle sitting on top of this battery. And I've seen pictures when these batteries do go up and how they burn the seats, and how there would be a time involved with getting children out of car seats. And I totally get that. I don't have that situation. But I also know that when these batteries go, they off gas first, so you have plenty of warning. I would think in most cases you would have warning that something is happening. But even in an off gassing scenario, I wouldn't want my kids in the back seat and strapped into a seat. So I understand those concerns, and I totally get that. And that's one of the reasons why I feel Jeep needs to be way more transparent and way more proactive in addressing this situation this time, because we've been through this before and they didn't resolve it the last time. And I shame on Jeep if anybody gets hurt as a result of these battery issues. So I totally get that, but I will say in most cases you should get plenty of warning. I would also add, if you have not had the 04B or B9A recall done on your Jeep, you need to call right now, pause this video, and call and schedule that. I don't know if you saw it come up for a second, but there is a light right in here that it's in the shape of an engine, but we're no longer calling it a check engine light. We're calling it a malfunction indicator light. So if you ever see that light come on, you need to take action and not continue to drive, because the vehicle has all sorts of things that will trigger that check engine light. And I'm going to start this thing up again so you can see where that check engine light is. It's that one right there. So if you ever see that and it stays on, don't continue to drive. Now, sometimes if you're having a P0BBD code, which is indicative of an irregular voltage in the hybrid battery pack, that light will come on and go off and come on and go off, and it'll be stored in there. Just talked to somebody from Canada whose dealership said they could not order a battery until that light stays on solid. That is a mistake. That should not be happening at any dealership. If there is a stored P0BBD code, that is all Jeep requires to order a battery for this thing. That is not something to play with. That is not something to get wrong. It is something that they need to understand. And if that thing comes on and there's a stored P0BBD code, you have a battery that's got an irregular voltage issue. Irregular voltage can lead to thermal runaway. Thermal runaway can lead to off-gassing. Off-gassing can lead to fire. So that's why that's important that you not drive around with that check engine light. But it's also why it's important that everybody get your 04B and your B9A recalls completed. If you're on either one of those lists, 04B is not just a defrost recall. It includes all the software updates that enables that check engine light to come on if you're having a battery issue. And what we don't need to have happen is somebody to get hurt because they were ignoring a 04B recall, thinking it was just a defrost recall. So just wanted to share all that information. Thanks for watching. Take care.